Do you want to visit Japan in the future? If you're thinking about coming to Japan, there are a few things I, as a former teacher, would like to share with you. Japan has plenty of rules you shouldn't do. So, to avoid any form of embarrassment, with this video, I'll introduce 10 rules which I think would be helpful to know. I initially made this for my friends, but I thought, why not share it on YouTube too? It's not totally related to kind of Japanese simple lifestyle, but I believe it's a fun way to understand the underlying Japanese mindset. So relax and enjoy. First, not dipping sushi from the rice into soy sauce. Alright, you are in Japan, you have to try sushi, right? But here's the deal. There is an unspoken rule when it comes to eating sushi. First of all, how do you eat sushi? Do you eat it with your hands or with chopsticks? Traditionally, using your hands is the way to go. But nowadays, chopsticks are okay too. So it's up to you. Now here's the trick. How do you dip sushi in soy sauce? In Japan, even many people dip the rice part of the sushi in soy sauce, but the proper etiquette is to dip only the fish part in soy sauce. Why is that? Because if you dip the rice part, it tends to fall apart. So dip the fish and keep the fish side down and eat it in one bite. This is the proper way to eat. Second, not tattoos in hot springs? I love Japanese culture, but this one rule, not a fan. Back when I had a little guest house in Tokyo, I had guests saying they couldn't go into the public baths because of their tattoos. What a bummer, right? The reasons are kinda uncool too. Reason 1. Apparently, tattoos used to be a mark of criminals back in the samurai period. Okay, who's living in the past here? Reason 2. Tattoos equals yakuza equals antisocial behavior. So other guests might be scared when seeing tattoos. This is such a discrimination. But hey, there's hope. Some places are starting to open up about tattoos in hot springs. You often have to use tattoo cover seed or something, but it's better than not being able to enter, right? Some hot springs offer private use of hot springs too, so this could be an option as well. Third, please don't die in a kimono. What does it mean? Let me explain. Let's say you're staying at the ryokan, traditional Japanese style inn, and they've got a yukata in your room. When you wear yukata, be sure to wear it right side first and left side after. And not the other way around. Otherwise, it will become a shinishozoku, which is the clothing worn by the deceased. You don't want to be a dead person on vacation, right? Even though there may not be many Japanese people who pay attention to this detail, it's good to know to avoid bad luck. Fourth, can't you eat on trains? The answer is, it's not that you can't eat. Yeah, eating on transportation is not prohibited by law, but there's an unspoken rule that you shouldn't eat. In my experience, snacks like candy, gum, and haichu are okay. They're small enough for a quick bite. But if you start eating Pocky, I think you'll start getting some weird looks. Cup noodles are definitely a no-go. Fifth, don't step on tatami edges, or else you might get murdered. What does that mean? Let me explain. When you go to ryokan, for example, there are tatami mats, in most cases. Here's the deal, don't step on the edges. Why? According to my mother, if you step on the edge, a sword might jump out and you might get killed. Cause back in the day, ninjas would hide under them and stab you. Of course, it's not like that anymore, but stepping on the edge of the tatami mats is considered bad manners. So please remember that. Sixth, don't drive on the right side of the road in Japan. Okay, Japan drives on the left, so you shouldn't drive on the right, of course. Ever wonder why Japan drives on the left when most countries drive on the right? There's an interesting story for it. It goes back to the samurai days, believe it or not. At that time, it was considered extremely rude for the scabbard of a sword to bump into others. And that could sometimes escalate into a showdown. And you know what? Most samurai carries their swords on their left side. So if they walk on the right side, there is a high chance for them to hit, right? So left side travel became the norm in Japan. After that, it's further solidified during the Meiji era modernization, inspired by British traffic norms. 7th, don't shout loudly on public transportations. Japanese people, whether for better or worse, are kind of master of consideration. So we like to keep things nice and quiet on public transit. This rule is applied for all of the transportation system except for Disneyland rides. Yeah, speaking loudly might attract some odd looks, so let's keep the noise levels down. 8th, don't stab food with chopsticks. When you come to Japan, you definitely use chopsticks. Surprisingly, it said that there are over 80 rules for using chopsticks. 80! I'm not gonna hit you with all 80 rules, but here are the big 6 ones. First, tatakibashi, drumming chopsticks. You can feel like a drummer, but don't do it. Second, ogamibashi, praying chopsticks. Even Japanese people occasionally do this, but it's also bad etiquette. Third, hashiwatashi. Fourth, yosebashi. Fifth, tatebashi. And sixth, sashibashi, stabbing chopsticks. I understand the feeling of wanting to do it because using chopsticks is difficult, but since chopsticks are for pinching, so like stabbing is not considered a good manner. Let's do our best. 9th, don't ignore traffic lights. Here's something that blows my mind when I'm abroad. People don't always follow traffic lights. Cars usually follow the lights, but pedestrians often do not. Just my experience. In Japan though, it's a different story. We always follow the signals. Not all the Japanese though, mostly. So when you're in Japan, maybe think twice before jaywalking. Because trust me, you'll stick out like a sore thumb. Japanese people are very strict with people don't follow the rules. So it's wise to follow the signals in Japan. 10th, don't leave food on your plate. Back in elementary school, my teacher always said, even if you don't like, finish your food. Yeah, Japanese people don't think it's good to leave food behind. There are 3 main reasons for this. First, we think it's rude to the person who made the food. Second, we don't want to waste food because Japan has historically experienced many food shortage due to natural disasters and famines. So wasting food would be rather disrespectful. Third, there is a spiritual aspect to it. In Shintoism, every little bit of food has a spirit, even 1 grain of rice. So leaving food unfinished? Yeah, not the best move. So what if you end up leaving food in Japan? Yeah, it might be good to say, sorry, I couldn't finish it. Then you'll be alright. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching until the end. Are there any rules you didn't know about? If so, please let me know in the comments because I'm curious. I hope you remember these rules and enjoy your trip to Japan to the fullest. Well then, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye!